Welcome to Chok Muay Chats episode 26. I'm Joe Comerford, commentator, content creator, and general Muay Thai nerd living here in Thailand. This is a very special episode, so if you could subscribe, like, share amongst your friends, it'll be available on YouTube and Spotify. But this week's guest is Thomas von Heusden.
Yes.
I think I said it correctly.
You said it correctly, man. Perfect, yeah, man.
Thomas is a Muay Thai fighter living here in Thailand, entrepreneur, and has a great YouTube channel about living here and working here in Thailand, building online businesses for people and helping them escape the rat race. Escape the rat race essentially and scale their online presence. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
So just before we start, where can people find you online?
Yeah, sure. So you can find me on Instagram, thomasv.h, and you can find me on YouTube under Thomas von Heusden, so just my full name. That's where they can basically find me. And what you said, I share a lot of content about, I would say that like, you said like a Muay Thai fighter, I will dive deep into it later on. Like, I don't consider myself like a real Muay Thai fighter. I can explain in a podcast why. I've done fights. But like the content is mostly based, like focused on business. But with my Muay Thai content, I try to show to people like what kind of discipline it takes in order to run consistent businesses. And I take that from Muay Thai, basically.
Yeah, well, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on was because I'm a big fan of your content and a big fan of the message of staying focused and staying disciplined. And I think that's something that people can take from Muay Thai and redirect it in their own life. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the sports that really, I think, has long-lasting impacts on how people perform during their normal day life. Sure. So maybe if we just jump straight into it, how did you get into Muay Thai?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I've been coming to Thailand since I'm 8 years old or something, man. So I'm 26 now, so I've been coming here for 18 years. Mm-hmm. Like almost every single year we came here like for holiday, like for vacations, right? So in like European summer, then we always came to Thailand because of my stepdad. And when I started with Muay Thai was like I think 6 years ago. So I did an internship here in Bangkok. One of my stepbrothers, he lives here already for like 10 years or 11 years. He moved to Bangkok, and then I got the opportunity to do an internship in Bangkok. Like I used to work for a company in the Netherlands via school, like an internship in a shipping company. They also had an office in Bangkok, and they were very satisfied about like the work I delivered. So I also like, hey, can I do my next internship in the same company, but then in Bangkok? They said, yeah, for sure, you can do that. So I got into that company here in Bangkok as an 18 years old. So I lived here like basically on my own. Of course my stepbrother was here, but I lived alone. I did everything basically alone. And that's when I actually started with Muay Thai. But I started with kind of considered fitness Muay Thai. You know? So that was it's at Tonglor. It's called something with Raja. RW, I don't know.
Oh, Raja Singh. Raja Academy.
Something like that. So that was actually the first time that I did Muay Thai. But there was a guy training there. He was a trainer, but he also gave training at a very local gym. And he saw that I like really liked it and wanted to get serious into it. So he said, yo, you can come to this local gym. I've honestly no idea what name of the gym was. I also don't even have the contact of the guy anymore. So really, like, I don't know. But that's how I started with Muay Thai. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And you've been training out of Eminent Air?
That's why I train now at Eminent Air, yeah. So I've been living now for, let's say, 2.5 years straight, or 2.5 years in Bangkok. And when I arrived there, I live in Punawiti, so I live at Digital Park, that area. Yep. And I just woke up and searched on internet Muay Thai gym, and then Eminent Air came up first thing. So it was also close by. And then I walked in there and I was like, yo, this is... Do you know Jaga? He's actually from Australia.
Yeah, Jaga Chan.
Yeah, so he was there then, and then... he just kind of welcomed me. He said like, yeah, you can train at this gym. It's very local. And then I actually started training and thought like, yo, it's so nice because there are not too many people here. There are only Thai people. It's very authentic. It's very local. And then I was like, yeah, man, this is the place where I want to train. And actually never left since then.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal gym. Like for those at home who are listening, Jomod, Eminent Air was from there, former Channel 7 champion, now fighting on RWS a little bit more frequently.
He's not there anymore though. When I started to train there, he was still there, but then he was already working on his own gym. Yep. So I don't know John that well, but yeah. I know that he has like a great history in Muay Thai, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The gym has trained some phenomenal fighters over the years, and a lot of people have gone there.
Yeah.
A lot of Aussies used to go there back in
Yeah.
the day, but you're definitely in good hands over there.
Yeah.
So you came over. You've been coming over for a long time.
Yeah.
And you've sort of been involved in Muay Thai for the last, 6 years or so?
Well, honestly, bro, like when I lived there, I trained a lot, but I wasn't serious, man, because like I smoked a lot, like I smoked cigarettes, I drink always a lot and stuff. I don't do anything of that anymore, but I used to do that a lot. So also when I trained then Muay Thai, and I didn't do any fights back then, so it was completely different. Like even though I trained at that local gym, it was still considered fitness Muay Thai, and I just did it for, and then I went back to the Netherlands, and then when I was there, like it wasn't really training, man. It was like hanging on the street, smoking joints, like all these kind of
yeah.
Just that, like what almost every teenager is basically doing. But actually, I see it like maybe now 2.5 years like pretty serious since I'm here in Bangkok. Before Bangkok, I lived in Mexico. I actually lived in Mexico because of COVID. COVID was a thing. I didn't want to be like in areas where they limited me, so I moved to Mexico because everything, like we were able to do everything in Mexico basically.
Yeah.
So I went to Mexico, and there I trained also Muay Thai. It was actually pretty nice, man. Like in Playa del Carmen, in a pretty nice gym. It's called the Union. There's now actually a gym in Tulum from an Australian guy.
Yeah, Eddie and Brooke Farrell. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So when I lived there, that gym was like, it was like still pretty small. They weren't really training people and stuff. So I trained in Playa del Carmen back then. But that's where I started to get a bit more serious into it. But also there in Mexico, I was still a lot on the party scene and drinking and like all these things, So let's say 2.5 years serious, man.
Yeah,
Like, and also no drinking, not do anything of that things I just mentioned anymore.
I mean, that's one of those things. Like, if you're gonna take Muay Thai seriously, you can't really afford to punish your body like that. And I've spoken about this a lot on this podcast about, that was really the downfall of my career was the partying and trying to mix that with the Muay Thai. And you can't. And it's just the reality. And I mean, now being a little bit thick around the belly area, it's the punishment after for it. It pays long-term punishment on you, and you just can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
But now you've had a couple of fights. You fought at Rajadamnern, correct?
So this is a fun story. I've only had 2 fights in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I never fought amateur or anything.
Yep.
And the first ever fight I did was in the Rajadamnern, and the second as well. And I have no idea how I was able to do that, but they just asked me if I wanted to do it. And man, like I only have 2 fights, and that's considered pro, I think, right?
Yes, yeah.
So I've only had 2 fights in my life, 2 professional. The first one I won. It was a pretty poor fight because it's your first time ever that you fought, and bro, it hurt so much on my shins and stuff. And like I didn't even know, like what is this, man? Because I never fought even like amateur and stuff, like none of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any fight experience, but still, they allowed me to fight there. I got into it. I trained very hard for it, very disciplined. I was very, very fit, So that's also eventually how I win the fight. I was just in a better condition than the other guy. And the second fight I did, I lost that with after literally 15 seconds. But actually, both of the fights I did it also for a business perspective. So can I explain it now? Or
No, keep going.
Like I do different things. We have like I do e-commerce, like drop shipping. I have a marketing agency, and I have a community business belt. So when I did my first fight, Business Belts wasn't a thing. That is the company where we help people with building companies. I'm going to tell that later, guys. But first, like, it was Go Digital, so that's a marketing agency. And every year in Bangkok, there's an event. It's called Affiliate World, and that's where a lot of e-commerce, affiliate, and online entrepreneurs are basically coming together. That's, I think, 3 to 5 December. It's 3 days straight, right? And we wanted to do kind of a marketing thing for our company. And I was training Muay Thai then. I was like, yo, maybe what I can do is I can ask them to do a fight around that date, and then there will be a lot of people from the affiliate world watching. And when we go there with a lot of people, we just wear like our agency t-shirts, and that's what we did, and it actually really worked because I got a lot of attention from people. Some people on the event even said like, hey, I saw you fighting in the stadium, amazing, like you're running a business and you're a fighter, blah blah blah. So it was a great marketing event for us actually. That was the main reason that I actually did that fight, and I liked it so much that 1 year later I did it again, and then I launched the business belts basically. So I did it 2 times for marketing perspective. Basically.
Very cool. I mean, it's a different reason than a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people get into fighting because they're a little bit broken. They need a bit of focus or something like this. But that's very cool to hear it from a different perspective, from more of a kind of commercial perspective, and how it's actually allowed you to build and scale your business, which I think, from my perspective, there's a lot of potential in the world of Muay Thai to be scaling people's businesses and this sort of thing.
Yeah, true. But how I see it also, bro, is that, you know, like, it depends what you actually want to do, because I couldn't be like a real full Muay Thai, a full-time fighter, man. That's why I say I don't consider myself a fighter. Like, I'm a businessman, basically. Like, I run serious businesses, 3 companies. We do have pretty big teams. I do it also with my business partner, of course. Shout out to Art if he's watching. Like, without him, I wouldn't be able to also do these fights and stuff. But you can't be a full-time fighter and then also run businesses on the side. You could do it, but then on a lower level. But it depends on your vision. If I would, for example, work a 9 to 5, I'm 100% confident that I could fight full-time, because 9 to 5 working wouldn't be much for me. But the way I run my business now, the discipline I need to put into my businesses, the teams I need to manage, the time I want to put myself, you know, in the businesses, it doesn't really allow me to also being able to fight on a full-time basis, you know. That's why I say, like, I won't consider myself a full-time fighter. Will I fight more? For sure. I wanna do more fights. Let's say I want to do maybe at least 10 fights. So yes, there's still a lot to come. But I try to find the right moments. I mean, never is the right moment, but I try to find the moments with business when it's a bit like, you know, not too busy, or when things are outsourced pretty well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool, just going back to what you said about if you're trying to build huge businesses or really upscale your business, you can't be a full-time fighter. I mean, it takes a lot to be a full-time fighter, you know, considering your nutrition, your strength and conditioning, also your Muay Thai training, and then your recovery on top of that.
The most important, right? Like the rest you need. Yeah.
Exactly. So one of the big reasons I wanted to get you on was, you know, one of the most frequently asked questions I get is about how do you balance being a fighter and also trying to work online? Now, I'm a school teacher during the day, and then I moonlight as a, you know, Muay Thai commentator, all this sort of stuff involved in the industry side. But how do you actually balance working online and training and fighting at the same time? How do you think people can do that?
That's a good question. Once again, that also depends on your vision. What do you really want to build? If you would say, like, yo, I'm just down, like, cool with an online job and like with 2,500 euros, which is I think 3.5k Australian dollars, would be fine for me, or maybe like less, whatever. Then I'm like so confident that almost everyone is basically able to do that. Then you just have to look for yourself, like, okay, what kind of thing you want to do online, and then try to apply it for jobs for online companies, or try to build something yourself. And if you want to do something yourself, that can be actually a lot of different things. There is so much, like there's e-commerce where you can basically sell online. There is affiliate marketing, what you could do, or you can work for companies. What I said, like maybe for an email marketing company. I met a few fighters in Krabi. German guy, for example, he worked for an email marketing company. He said, yo, I just earn like 1,200 euros a month, which is maybe 40k baht, 45k baht. The gym pays everything for him, so he's basically fine, right? You could also do that. I think it depends on your vision, but I'm so confident that basically everyone is able to do it. But like, you need to be a freak, man. Like, if you really want to do that, then you really have to go for that, and you need to sacrifice everything. Like, I can talk about this because I've done it myself, and I see it also in the community we build. Like, if people want to join our community, like we teach them dropshipping, e-com, and then I tell them, like, listen, we can make you successful, but you have to do it yourself. Like, you need to show up every single day. You need to put in the work we require you to do, and then you will succeed. And you need to understand that you need to sacrifice a lot. Because now you're saying, like, yeah, a lot of people want this, but bro, I can guarantee you one thing. Maybe 80% of the people or 90% of people will say they don't really want it based on, like, how they live their current life, because they still go to that party, they still go to that bar, they still want to hang out with friends. Like, if you really want that, you cut it all off. You know what I mean? Disciplines comes there in place. It's a lifestyle you need to live. It's the same with fighting. That's why I like fighting really aligns, like, the way these Muay Thaiers are living, bro, I have so much respect for them because I've done it myself and I know what you need to sacrifice. But I also knew myself, like, I've been sacrificing so many things of this already for many years straight for my businesses, for example. Because when I started with building online businesses before I went to Mexico, when I was just locked in my room back home with my mom together, basically, bro, I sacrificed everything, man. I didn't do anything. I was 100% focused on the business until I finally reached the stage that I earned like decent money, could hire people in my company, and finally could, travel, basically. You know?
Yeah.
So, like everyone can basically do it. And look, bro, there's so many ways to make online money. Look at on YouTube, man. Like there's so many different ways, and people say like, yeah, there's also a lot of people they want to start, but they consider everything a scam. Like, of course, there is a scam out there, but most of the stuff is not really a scam, and it's real stuff. I can say that because I'm in the online world and I know so many people making online money, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy to see like a lot of the expats down Sukhumvit way and the money that they're making online. And I've met a lot of guys that have come through working in e-commerce, and you know, there's a lot of crazy money to be made. But doing that comes at a cost. The same as fighting. Exactly, you've got to dial in. And you've got to sacrifice, and that means, maybe you can't go to the nightclub. Maybe you can't afford to go and meet girls all the time. Exactly. You know,
sorry to interrupt, but that's also the thing here in Bangkok. I always say this to the guys around me here. Bangkok makes you or breaks you if you're a foreign guy. Because like with all the respect to Thai women, don't get me wrong, I like Thai women. They're very nice, you know. Of course, I also hang out with them and stuff, but if you're like kind of a weak-minded guy, it can be pretty dangerous. It has nothing to do with Thai women, it's women in general, basically. And especially here in Bangkok, if you come as a foreigner, bro, it's like basically so easy to hang out with women and stuff. And that usually also results in bad habits for a lot of guys, if that makes sense. Because what do you usually do when you date a girl for the first time? You go out, you go to a bar, maybe you drink something. Of course you do that. Maybe you start to like her, things are happening. Focus is gone, everything goes down. They also say that in Muay Thai, there's actually P. Philip, the trainer at I just said that. He said like a lot of fighters, when they like really fall in love with a girl, you see usually that they fall down, man. Not all of them, of course, but a lot of them are like that.
Yeah, it tends to be a perpetual cycle of chasing, trying to please people, and you know, it really does lead to bad habits. I mean, I've lived it myself 1,000 times over in my fight career, and I think Bangkok is a very dangerous place in terms of you know, falling into bad cycles. You've got to be careful about who you hang out with. I think that's probably one of the biggest things, is the first 5 people that you hang out with who you become. And I think that's a big thing, is being careful about the friends that you choose in Bangkok. I think also the lifestyle, it's so easy to fall into bad habits here. Drinking, partying, because
something ongoing here.
You know, like me being Aussie, I love a good beer, and I have no qualm saying that, I like a drink, but it's not my best habit. It's definitely not a good habit to fall into. And here, when you come back from work, you can easily just go to 7-Eleven, crack open a beer. By the time you've had one, you know, 15 minutes later, you've had 3 because it's hot, it tastes good. So I think that's a really good piece of advice you've got there, is, you know, Bangkok can make or break you. And it's really about who you're hanging out with and the lifestyle that you live, you know?
It's discipline, bro. Everything comes down to discipline, man. I really, and that is why I like Muay Thai so much, because I always been kind of a disciplined guy, especially with my businesses, because I just have a specific vision for myself, what I want to achieve with business. I've done already a lot, but there's still way more to achieve. You know, I've created that freedom for myself already. But what I also feel is that Muay Thai really aligns with my kind of lifestyle, man. Like, it keeps pushing me to be consistent, to remain healthy, to have a clear vision, you know, because like I barely party and stuff. I don't want it, man. I just really don't want to party, for example. I don't want to drink. Maybe sometimes, but I can't even remember when I drank for the last time. It's been a very long time. But I've done it all, basically. And I think it's also good to have seen all the different sides, because, when I, for example, lived in Mexico, that was insane, man. Like, we did a lot of partying, but also, like, we also felt like we kind of deserved it because we were at the stage that we were building so much our businesses, being stuck in the Netherlands for so long, and then finally we could like kind of escape. And of course you're going to do these things, right? But you can't do it all the time. You also want to have like kind of a structured life, I would say, right? And that is for the people who are watching this and say like, yeah, I want to be like, for example, they are active in Muay Thai. They fight, for example, back home, and then they don't know how to like start a business. Like I can guarantee you one thing: if you can find the same discipline you put into your fight game towards like something you want to start, for example, in business, you are going to succeed. There's no way to do it wrong. I always see it like that. I take the discipline from Muay and I put it into my business.
Yeah, and I think one big thing about fighters coming over here and trying to, live the kickboxer style, the Jean-Claude Van Damme thing, is not treating Thailand as a perpetual holiday. Because, like a lot of people come over and they'll be super disciplined at home, but as soon as they come here, all of that goes out the window. And I think that's a big thing for becoming an expat over here, or even trying to establish a life, whatever it be, like business, Muay Thai, whether you're coming over as a teacher, is you can't treat holiday as you can't treat Thailand as a perpetual holiday,
But why they do that? I actually had a conversation about this a few days ago with a guy. They do that to escape the life they're currently stuck in.
Right.
That is what a lot of people do, and it makes sense. You can't even blame them, but they need to be aware of that, because what happens, like they, first of all, when they're back home, they're looking towards these weekends when they finally have a weekend. Can go partying and stuff, and then the Monday starts and they're back to the job. They're stuck in their life, and then they can come to Thailand. Bro, Thailand is in heaven, man. Like, I would lie if I said like I never did crazy stuff in Thailand, because I've been coming here since a young boy. Every summer we came here. So I'm like, you're 10 months a year, you're in the Netherlands, where it's like, of course it's nice, but it's nothing much special because it's home. Same for you in Australia. It's just normal, right? And then you come here in Thailand as a young boy. What are you going to do? Of course you're going to party. Maybe I was lucky that my mom really allowed me to do a lot of things on a very young age, what now, for example, a lot of guys from my age still have to do. So maybe I'm kind of blessed with that my mom showed me this. I was 14, 15, like I had like my bikes on the islands, I could go out, I could drink, like I could do anything of that. So it made me also kind of mature in a way that I thought like, when I was 20, I was like, I don't even want this anymore, man. I've done that already. That doesn't make me better than people who haven't done that yet, but I'm so thankful that I got an opportunity actually.
Yeah, I think it's important for, I do think it's important for people to at least have a taste of that, and then they can get it out of their system. But it is also important for people to remain focused and diligent with whether it be business, Muay Thai, because Thailand can chew you up and spit you right out. I mean, it's not a place that you want to be without money. Well, I'll put it that way.
But then, like, you're from Australia, for example. I think that most of the people from Australia from my age who have a 9-to-5 job, they earn pretty decent money.
Yes, yeah.
Then, if you're living at home and don't have too much expenses, if you're in that situation, then just tell yourself, I'm going to give myself 1 year straight here at home. I'm not going to do anything much. I save up money. I invest my money in something, for example, in a specific guidance I could get. You invest in that. You go all in for that. You build basically your online company when you're home, and from the moment you build that company and there's some money incoming, that is the moment that you can finally leave. But then the most interesting thing comes in place. Will you be disciplined enough to retain your businesses on that level at least? Because that is a very interesting thing, right? I know so, especially in e-com, there's so much money to make. I have seen so many people from a young age making crazy amounts of money, all going to Dubai. We've been there as well. It's nice to go to Dubai. It's it's all fun, but I've seen so many people going broke as well because they make so much money on a young age. They go to Dubai, they spend all the money, it's gone. Money is gone, because they thought like, okay, all the money comes in, and then now the money is here. I'm going to Dubai. I'm going to spend on the money, not being even aware that the business is going down. At the meantime, money is gone, business down, boom.
Yeah.
You get into kind of a depression or something,
Yeah.
You also need to be aware of that thing. There's so many things you need to be basically aware of, right? But I feel that everyone is actually able to do it. But you need to be a freak once again. You need to go all in, day out, and you need to live that, man. I've been living this life for 5 years already, and I'm still doing it every day because I love what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you're probably one of my favorite Thai expat YouTubers at the moment. Just the infectious energy, and also I really like how the values from Muay Thai have aligned into your business. Personally, like me, I'm not really into business that much. It's not really my thing, but I do see the value that how Muay Thai has focused you on building and helping people.
Yeah.
That's the other important thing for me is your message is not just about making money, make money. It's about helping people and escape the monotony of the 9 to 5 rat race back home and being able to change their lives. I really love that,
Thanks, man. And we do that. Like, bro, we change lives. I'm so confident that we change lives, but I'm not a guru. Like, first of all, because we still run our own web shops, we still do all these things ourselves. It's not that we only sell courses. Yes, we provide courses, but there's a lot of value in that, and we don't sell the dream. I'm not telling them sign up with us and in 2 months you come like you're able to buy a Lamborghini and fly to Dubai, because that's what you see a lot. Right?
Yeah.
Like, with nothing to these guys or girls doing that, because it's a marketing angle. It works for them. Fine. I just want to be very transparent and tell to people, if you work with us, we can make you a shitload of money, and I'm talking about serious money, bro. Like if someone says to me, I want to sign up with you and I want to earn 10k a month, 10,000 euros, then I'm saying, bro, you can easily do that, but just stay in for months, be disciplined, be committed, and you're going to achieve that, And it's maybe very hard to believe, but it's really a fact if they stay committed and they keep working for it. But I always tell them, don't be a loser, and just stay disciplined and don't expect success overnight. If you sign up with business belts, that is, the community is called business belts. If you sign up with business belts thinking that you have success within a month or within 2 months, you don't have to sign up. We will give you all the knowledge you would need to have within these 2 months on your one-on-one program, what you would need in order to come there, but you need to be able to do it consistently day in and day out. And if you then do that, you're going to succeed. That is also a kind of guarantee we can basically give.
And I love that message of, consistency. Consistency is key, because success doesn't happen overnight. And I mean this is a Muay Thai podcast, but I really love that message that, like, success doesn't happen overnight. You've got to chip away at the basic things, and that that philosophy that you take from business and apply it to sport or whatever you're doing. I really love that, because it's just so true. You've got to do the basics every single day and stay disciplined, and you can't expect the trophy, the gold, the world championship belt overnight. And it's the same with business, and you've got to be dialed in every day. I love that, like watching your YouTube videos. And you're always talking about staying dialed in, and on top of it every day, and just doing the little things like eating healthily, reading every day, making sure that you're going out and getting enough.
It all adds up.
Yeah.
Like, I would highly recommend for people to read a book. It's called Atomic Habits.
Yes, great book, yeah.
Right, and that is about building these habits. And when I got into Muay Thai, bro, when I was training for my first fight, I got so much, even more respect for these Thai guys or foreign guys fighting Muay Thai, man, because it was just insane. They really required me to run, like, let's say 7 to 10 kilometers every single morning before we start to train. Bro, like, I didn't even know what happened, man. And it was like, I always felt like I'm so tired, but I kept pushing, and then you clinch, and then they throw you on the floor 10 times, but you have to stand up 10 times again. You have to do this, right? And then I started to realize during this, my first Muay Thai camp, like, yo, this game is so insane serious, and I can learn so much stuff from this, what I can implement in my business. Because also with business, like, every single day you make mistakes, every day things are going wrong, but it can't stop you. Like, there's an obstacle and you overcome the obstacle. With Muay Thai, they throw you on the floor, you have to stand up and you overcome that, basically, right? So it's really the same. And it sounds very cliche, but it is actually.
But it's true. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, these cliches, they don't come from nowhere. They come from tried and tested methods. Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, you look at Rocky Balboa, that famous quote of, it's not how hard you get hit, it's how hard you get hit and keep on going. And that motto or that philosophy, you can apply to anything. You can apply it to friggin' mathematics if you're studying for a mathematics test, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and I really like watching your stuff for that, the messages that come through and how applicable they are for athletes in Muay Thai.
For sure. Yeah, man. That's like, bro, I truly believe that every Muay Thai fighter, especially foreign guys, there's so many fighters, for example, also from the UK and stuff, like, from France. Maybe there are not that many Dutch fighters, I think. Not Dutch.
Not these days.
Yeah.
Kickboxing's a bit more.
Kickboxing is more, that's a big sport in the Netherlands, exactly. But let's say like these guys, right? If let's say they have an entire fighting career and they're like, for example, 30 years old and they stop fighting, they're like, bro, you have so much discipline, man. You have so much discipline. Now sign up for something where someone really can help you building a business. Use all the discipline you gained with Muay Thai. There's a guarantee that you will make a lot of money. But they don't see that yet, you know. But I see it because I've seen both sides, basically, and I truly believe in that. Because, bro, I can say that the fighting game is more tough than running businesses, man. Fighting game is so like it's insane serious game. I can't even really talk that much about fighting as like fighters who are doing it, for example, full time. Foreign fighters here in Thailand, full time. You know, no support at all. Let's say you're injured, for example. Like, where are you going to get the money from? You know, there's no money incoming. You need to be so calm. You need to be so disciplined. You need to be so structured. That game is tough, man. It's a mental game. It's just insane. And yeah, once again, I truly believe that especially foreign fighter, is really able to build a business out of that, man. Or at least make money via a way. Like, work yourself up in the company. Use that discipline, man. Be consistent.
Yeah, I love that as well. You know, you've already got the skills. You've already got the skills.
Most important skills, bro.
Yeah, you've got skills that you've been training and honing in for years.
Exactly.
And you can pretty much immediately apply them to something else, like building online businesses.
Yeah, man.
So if you're a retired fighter and you haven't thought about what you're going to do after you retire, hit up your man here because he can definitely help you out.
For sure.
And that's one thing a lot of fighters don't think about is what happens when you got to hang up the gloves.
Yeah.
You know, like
I think they think limited. They don't think big, but they need to allow themselves to think big. Same as I did with Muay Thai, because if you actually think about it, like someone who did, for example, 30 or 40 Muay Thai fights here in Thailand as a foreigner, bro, that's insane, man. And it maybe became normal for them. But like it is actually very insane. But it became normal for them because they're active in the Muay Thai game. You know, so like their limit is basically getting, for example, the one championship belt. That would be for them the limit. You know, but they can use these skills in so many other things, man. Because what they have already achieved is basically insane. They are already acting above average, right?
yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, and even stepping into the ring. You know, you talk about, I'm not a fighter and this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But the biggest hurdle to get over is jumping over the ropes to get in there.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's why I consider everybody a fighter who, if they've had one fight or whether they've had 300 fights, you've made the philosophical and conscious jump to jump over the ropes and put your life on the line for entertainment.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, I never saw it like that.
You know, it's like you can compare yourself to, okay, me, you know, like I fought a lot back in the day, but I would still say I'm the same as you. We're still equal. Okay, maybe my skills might be a bit more experienced or whatever, but you've made the conscious effort to go through a training camp, to put your life on the line for other people's entertainment.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's anything more ballsy in life than doing that.
True, yeah, I agree.
And, you know, even whether you've done it once or 100, you've actually on it. And a lot of guys and girls can't say that they have.
Yeah.
And
it's true. And that's why, like, for all these guys watching this and they have done so many fights, like, you have the world in your hands, like, literally, man. You can do anything. You can overcome anything, basically. Especially in a world where there's, sorry to say this, but I consider society pretty weak, man. Like Western society, for example, if I see that in the Netherlands, like this is weak society, man. Like guys nowadays, like they're not real men anymore. Like what do they actually do? They become weak, you know, drinking, smoking, not being disciplined. It's different. So if you are actually that guy who is disciplined, then you basically already win. And
Yeah,
it's
you've
a matter
got,
of repeating it, and yeah, man.
and that's the thing. Like, I'm not any sort of measure of success in my own world, but I do think that I've taken the skills that I've learned from Muay Thai and applied them.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to Japan with RWS.
Wow.
I've commentated on all 3 major stadiums. I've commentated in a prison. I've MC'd at Rajadamnern.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, you can apply all these skills, and it's just about pushing
That
yourself.
comes with confidence as well. What you've
Exactly.
done, you need balls for that to get into that, because you are also at a stage that you need to make that first step, right?
Yeah.
Same with the podcast. Like, you're doing this. Like, a lot of people maybe think like, oh, this podcast, you know, it doesn't. For example, sometimes you have podcasts, it doesn't get many views, but if you keep doing it consistently, you know, then you still do way more than other people, and eventually it goes up. And then when it goes up, people will say like, oh, how come that your podcast is now being successful? Like, bro, this is work, man. Like, this is hours of work, day in, day out. You live this life, basically. That's the same with your content creation.
You can apply all these skills to your everyday life.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at the things that you've done in such a short time. I mean, from what I can see from your content and how you display yourself online, you're a pretty successful guy. And you know, you were saying you've got the other day you've got nearly 100 members now.
We have now 104 members in Business Belts, and it only exists for 8 months.
Wow.
And then with our marketing agency, we serve a few hundred clients. And then also the ecom company is pretty big. So yeah, I can say I've done a lot. We do a lot, but for us it became also normal, you know. And yeah, we want to keep doing more, basically. But it's not to show off, you know. I don't like that, man. Like, I'm a very humble guy, you know. But I like to show to people. You know, I just once again trust so much in the fact that everyone can basically do it, and I really want to show that with my content to people, you know. And the community Business Belts, it only exists for 8 months, and we're now on 104 members, which is it's pretty much.
That's solid.
It's not low ticket, it's a high ticket program, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's a solid membership to online community.
Yeah.
And especially in such a small time. So, you know, and it really does come down to things like staying disciplined every day, and you know,
and having the right people around you. Also, it comes with experience, right? Because like building that community, it wasn't really, some things were new to us, but we already did a lot of consulting, we already did a lot of coaching back in the days. So it was kind of, I wouldn't specifically say easier, but it was like we were able to speed up the process because we do have already pretty much knowledge in this e-commerce game. We already had a name in the e-commerce game, especially in the Netherlands. A lot of people knew us. I've done podcasts in the Netherlands with also like pretty big gurus from there. So from there, people started to get to know us a bit better, you know. So I think it wasn't easy to build it up, but if I look back at it now, like, yeah, you know, it was also not that difficult, but just being consistent. But consistency for me is a normal thing. That's why I don't consider a lot of things too difficult anymore. I truly believe that I can achieve anything what comes up in my mind because, you know, I believe in it, I go for it, I work for it, and that's basically it.
Yeah, and just keep chipping away.
Yeah.
How do you...
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to... I was just going to redirect it a little bit because I've seen recently you've been networking with a lot of different foreigners and content creators, probably like what I would consider the Thailand creator space with, what's his name, Mikey?
Actually, Mike is a very good friend of mine, man.
Oh, okay.
I met Mike in Eminent Air. I met Mike almost a year ago, I think. And we lived in the same building. We lived in the same building, not anymore. And you know, Mike is he's a great guy, bro. Like he teaches me a lot of content, and I teach him a lot of business. You know, so like he's a smart guy. He knows a lot of content, also about business now. But I can still provide him a lot of business in terms of like how do you build teams, how do you outsource stuff, all these kind of things. You know, so it's a pretty interesting relationship that we have together because we really help each other. And yeah, so we make also some content now. I think I've only done it really with Mike, right? And maybe with a few other guys. I mean, I've done podcasts with a few guys. I also started with a podcast, but I kind of stopped with that. It took me too much time, and I was like, I don't know. I think I want to do something different. And I think for me, since I'm really able to just take my DJI camera, I just talk to it and show nice content. I was like, let's just do that, man. It will be maybe more entertaining to show that to people. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one thing is that the podcasts do take a long time. It takes a lot of effort as well.
Yeah, man.
And I can definitely see why they're not worth doing sometimes. But
Yeah. Well, it's nice though. Like you seem committed to it, right? And if you just keep doing that, like it's nice. It's a nice thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I do it because I love it. You know, it's not something that I think I'm worried about making money from it. It's for me, it's like something that I can stay consistent with, you know, and that's like content for Muay Thai. I can stay consistent. If I don't release something every day, then I beat myself up. You know, after work, I've got to do something about Muay Thai, or I've got to go to the gym and hold pads. You know, personally, I'm a bit beaten up to train anymore, but I hold pads for a lot of fighters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Down at Sordechapalm, which is a very...
I like that gym, man.
Yeah,
I've never trained there, but I've watched some fighters from there. Very nice, man.
Oh, mate, you're always welcome to come down and have a sesh with us. Yeah.
I'd love to do that one time, just to see these guys.
Yeah, always come down. Come down. Yeah.
Okay,
You're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Very cool. But yeah, with the content creators, so like Mike is a good friend of mine. It's actually a fun thing. He still says this sometimes. He said the first time when I met you, like we had this conversation that he said you didn't even know me. He said, and he just started to talk to me about that, like people here in Bangkok wasting their time, that they need to work harder, that they need to be more disciplined. That was like the first kind of conversation I had with him. And then Mike told me like, yeah, but maybe there are also people who actually don't want that. And I was like, yeah, maybe he's actually right. Maybe not everyone is like me. Just want to be like go all in with everything. And I also remember that he said like from the moment I started to be in touch with you, I felt like I'm not working at all. He said because I feel like you're like always working and working. So now we have this kind of circle with a few guys where we hold each other also accountable. You know, I'm really the type of guy I can hold myself accountable, man. If I wouldn't have people now around me, we're not doing the thing. I'm still doing it anyway. I'm very confident about that. But it's still nice to have this kind of circle with people. What you said earlier in the podcast, if you hang out with 5 people doing these things, like being entrepreneurs, you will be the 6th. You know, if you're hanging out with 5 fighters, you will be the 6th fighter. Yeah.
And just bringing it around to how you met, I didn't realize you'd met at a Muay Thai gym. Do you think a Muay Thai gym is a good space to meet like-minded individuals? Like, say if you're an expat and you're into business.
Yeah, man.
Do you think it's a good space?
Yeah, I would say that a Muay Thai gym is actually a very great spot to connect with people because you basically always talk with people in a Muay Thai gym who come there, right? And I think you always have chill conversations. It's a very good thing. For me, it's difficult to find really business people in Muay Thai because why? I also feel that the gym where I train eminent is pretty local. Maybe if I will train at more, what's the right word for that? Like to gyms where there's fitness Muay Thai. I think
more commercial outfits,
more
sort
commercial,
of. Yeah,
exactly. I don't really prefer that, right? Like I since I've been training at Eminent Air and since I've done these 2 fights and since I train with these guys, like I became so good with them. I don't want to train also at commercial gyms. I don't want to be in a fitness Muay Thai vibe. With all respect to that, because if you do that's completely fine. But I don't really feel like that. So for me, I would say in Eminent Air, it's still easy to connect with people, but the people I usually connect with, they're not really entrepreneurs. Even better, I barely talk about my businesses at Eminent Air, man. I don't really like that, and for me that's amazing because my mind is always on. I'm always
right, yeah.
businesses, like I love to do that, but when I'm at Eminent Air, I'm training Muay Thai, I'm not in business. And that's actually what I love about Eminent Air, and about Muay Thai. When I'm there, I'm off. I'm just so focused on my Muay Thai thing. And I don't have to really think about my businesses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's an important thing for people to have is, like an outside focus of their main focus, and I think that's an important thing for fighters as well. You've got to have something that you can disassociate from what you do every day, in and out every day, to take your mind off sort of like, let's be real, like there are monotonous tasks that we have to do, whether it's in business, work or Muay Thai. I don't enjoy doing 100, 300 knees on the bag, but that's why I like doing content creation because, it takes my mind off doing the stuff that I don't like doing, and you have to have that sort of that breakaway or balance, and it's great to hear that, that Muay Thai can be that place away from business sometimes,
I think also that Muay Thai brings people together, Also, I've done a camp with my sister together.
Cool.
So my sister works also in our company now. Back then she didn't, but she worked already online. I got her also in online work. Don't get me wrong, she did it all herself. I just gave her some insights.
Okay, cool, yeah.
So, but she worked also for a company, and then she said like, I really want to do a Muay Thai camp. So we went like, it's not considered the camp what I've done at Eminent, but it's like, it's at Kunsuk.
Yes, yep.
Bro, amazing gym, man.
Beautiful views there, yeah.
It was really amazing the first time that we went there. I think that was 2 years ago. And bro, that was amazing. We met so many nice people. Even better, one Swedish guy, shout out to you, Simon, who is actually now part of Business Bells and is making a shitload of money. I met him in the Kunsuk gym.
Yeah.
Back then I didn't do Business Belts. I was only working on my own businesses. And then I started with ecom, and he said, right away, bro, I want to sign up. He said, because I trust in what you do. Because when we trained at Krabi, he always asked us to come out and stuff, but we all said, bro, we can't, we have to work. So we were 2 months in Thailand. The only thing what we did was work and train. Morning train, afternoon train, and work. So we had a pretty big apartment. We had like 2 setups with like desks. That is the thing what we did 2 months straight together with my sister. That brought us even more together. I would say I have already a very special connection with my sister. But after that, even more, man. Because imagine you're 2 months with someone in like one apartment, and you do basically both the same day in, day out. It brings you so much together. You're going to have very interesting conversations and stuff, And to come back at like how to connect with people, that's what we did there. We met so many people. But also there, it was pretty difficult for me to find like-minded. Like-minded people wouldn't be the right word, because they are like-minded in Muay Thai, but they aren't like-minded in business.
Yeah.
So that was a bit. What I saw there is that a lot of people come there, they train 1 month, and then they have to go back home, and then they regret that they have to go back home. And then I always thought like, just start to work online. Like you don't really see it. Like you can literally work online and live here, basically, if you want that. And that's why we also started with Business Belts, to show people that there is a way to make money online and still do sports at the same time. Because in Business Belts, what we basically do is we focus completely on the dropshipping e-commerce model. So we learn them that, but at the same time, we also show them and learn them how to be disciplined and consistent with everything they do. So they get a business coach, and they get an accountability coach who holds them basically accountable.
Very cool.
Yeah, and that is all like the entire package is created on our business experience and discipline experience the last 5 years. Because my business partner Arthur, he is not a Muay Thai fighter, but he's also disciplined like crazy, man. Sometimes he trains at Eminent, but in terms of sports, he's like, in terms of nutrition, in terms of sports, he's always very consistent, And we are not saying that this is only the way to become successful in business. Because I also know a lot of guys who are not doing any sports, drinking, and still making a lot of money. That could be a way as well. I'm not saying that what we do is the only way, but what we do is like it's a very clean way, I would say. Like also for peace of mind. Because I know a lot, especially once again in the e-com business, I know a lot of guys that started to make a lot of money, and they they spent basically all their money in clubs. And you also start to attract different kind of people when you make a lot of money, And if you can't handle that in the right way, you attract the wrong woman. Why? Because you go to clubs where you buy bottles, and then you know what I try to say?
Yeah.
And that's also what we teach people in business. Like, from the moment you start to make money, I always tell them, no one cares. Like literally, no one cares. Work harder and show up. Don't show off. Like that. These are the things what I always say in Business Belts. I don't like to show off, man. I like to make a shitload of money, but I don't really like to show it out in terms of going to clubs and attracting the wrong people with that. And I think that a lot of people are doing that in the kind of wrong way. I consider that wrong. I don't mean it personal to them. I still respect them, but that's not the way to me, man.
Now, before I wrap it up, I wanted to get your perspective on Fairtex. You went down to Fairtex.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm a commentator on Fairtex Fight, which is on Saturdays, 10 a.m. Thai time. Saturday mornings on Channel 7 at Lumpini Stadium. But, you can check that out.
Small gloves.
They don't do small gloves now, but they've got the Road to One series on at the moment. So it's basically... It's like a development program, like checking out the upcoming talent, and it's a tournament, a knockout tournament. So they've got 3 divisions. They've got 64 kilos, 64 kilos for men, 56 kilos for men, 56.5 kilo for women this season.
Okay.
And they'll put 8 fighters in, and then in 2 weeks they'll fight again, and 2 weeks they'll fight again. and it's a knockout tournament, and the winner gets a $100,000 contract with one championship.
Oh, wow.
And the fighters from these series have been doing pretty well. Sher Cohen, one of the female fighters, did very well at one. Celeste Hansen, Duan Dung Lek, one of the Thai fighters from Tita Gao Gao, has been doing very well. So it's a good series. But you went down to the gym.
Man. Yeah, I actually went there because Mike wanted to do a video with them, or they asked him to do a video, whatever. And what I already said, Mike is my mate, so he said, bro, come with me, and then you can also make content. Like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So we went there down, and yeah, I was impressed, man. I was really impressed. We got like a very nice guy there. His name is Kung Fu Kid on Instagram.
Yeah.
Man, bro, he's so nice. And he showed us like the gym. He gave us like a lot of background stories. Actually, you can watch the video on my channel as well. He gave a lot of background story about that gym, and I was impressed, man. Like the guys training there in the gym, yeah, high level. But I think it's kind of the same gym where you actually train, because there are also a lot of high level fighters there, right?
Yeah.
But I was very impressed. Like, there was not jokings, there was just training hard. At the same time, there were also beginners. That was very interesting to see. So there were like a lot of people training hard, but then also beginners. Everyone seemed pretty chill, always in Muay Thai, of course. And then you had, I think Mr. Hong is his name?
Mr. Wong, yeah.
Mr. Wong was like sitting there on top, and then he has the overview of the gym. And then he talks in the mic, and then he like pushes people to train harder. That was, I think, the most impressive thing for me. And I thought, like, this man has a lot of discipline, because he seems like it seems that he does it already for many years.
He apparently sits there for every single session in his umpire's chair in his box.
That requires discipline if you think about it. So he lives for that. Maybe that also makes the difference in that gym. I think he is one of the reasons that gym is also so successful, because he lives for them. He takes care of his fighters, and the fighters want to do also everything for him, because the fighters see like he's always here to support us, man. That's insane. That was for me the biggest takeaway. Like, you know, Muay Thai is more than only the fighter. There's much more than that. There's a team behind that. There's people who take care of you. You know, it's everything together. That was the biggest takeaway for me. I would recommend everyone to go to the gym. It's very impressive. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Pattaya, but
no, neither am I. But whenever I go to Pattaya, I always stop in at Fairtex, because Matt Lucas is the media rep for them.
okay.
So I always go see him. I mean, he's basically my kind of, I wouldn't say business partner, but he's kind of been my mentor in the industry and that sort of
nice,
stuff.
man. Nice.
So
It's always nice to have someone around you, right? Like, I work with mentors as well, man. I have business mentors for sure.
Yeah.
How can I teach other people if I don't have a teacher myself?
Exactly. You can't learn everything by yourself. You got to have somebody leading your hand a little bit. But Fairtex is absolute fighters factory.
Yeah.
Amazing. I really love how organized they are, how systematic, sort of like a ticket system. You go with the same trainer. Very, very slick operation there.
Yeah. One thing I also want to say, by the way, is that for all the fighters watching this, like, I have so much respect for all the fighters, man, because when I did my second fight, which was also the last one, that I literally got TKO'd after 15 seconds, I think, with an elbow here at the cut, so he needed to stop the fight. And after that was also the day that I launched my business, so there was a lot of things ongoing in my mind. Then after 15 seconds, you're getting TKO'd, then there were a lot of people watching for me, so there was also pressure and stuff. And then like a day after, I had like a complete breakdown, man. Like, I cried like a baby, and I was thinking like, bro, like these weeks being like so fast, focusing completely on the business launch and then the fight, and then like getting everything organized, people needed to come, and then you get TKO'd after 15 seconds, and then like I actually cried like a baby, you know, just for maybe an hour straight, and everything was just fine. But then I thought like, bro, my respect towards fighters is now like so much more, you know, because this was like, I was actually in shock about what happened, man, honestly. Like, I couldn't even believe what really happened. And the day after, of course, like after I cried, everything was just fine. And then once again I thought like, bro, every single fighter, I respect them way more now than I actually did before, because this game is insane, man. It's really insane.
Yeah, every time you step over those rings, as I said, you put your life on the line. You know, people have died for this sport, and
I still want to do more fights. I actually think that if I wouldn't, it's easy to say, but I think I can say it because I've done 2 fights and I felt the pain already, and I want to do it more. If I wouldn't have these businesses, I would be way more active in the fighting game, and I think I would have been also already a bit further than I'm now, but that's not the case. So if doesn't count. Business is one for me. Being able to focus on that is the one thing for me, but 100% guarantee that I'm going to fight more for sure, man. Yeah, and maybe I should do more fights in other stadiums and not in Raja right away, because I think for me that's also better, because then you still have to train hard, but not as hard as you go in there. Maybe that sounds very stupid. What I'm saying now.
I think there's a lot in going and fighting out in the country, and I always tell fighters when they come over here, you should go and do your time in the country, because you get your experience out there. You know,
and you go to the bigger stage.
Yeah.
I still don't know why they actually allowed me to do it 2 times there. But yeah, shout out to Eminent, man. I love them like that. That they gave me this opportunity. You know, it's amazing that I got an opportunity. I don't know that much fighters who have only had 2 fights in their entire life and did both in the Raja.
Sometimes
I'm still thinking like, how was I able to do that? But yeah.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for coming on. Can you just remind us where people can find you?
Yeah, so guys, you can find me on Instagram, thomasv.h, and you can find me on YouTube, Thomas Van, like Van Heusden, Heusden. And I'm showing a lot of content about building businesses, how to be disciplined, how to be consistent, how to break free from the life you're currently stuck in, and Muay Thai, and also at the same time some entertaining stuff about Thailand, because I love Thailand. So yeah, if you want to see a lot of entertaining and educational content, I'm your guy. Keep watching, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir. So make sure you check out this episode on YouTube and Spotify. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm Joe Comerford, Muay Thai commentator, MC, and ballooned out ex-fighter. So I'll see you on the flip side.